Good morning and welcome to the 2018 Excellence in Masonry Awards, presented by the Wisconsin Masonry Alliance. This year's presentation is dedicated to the life of Dennis Wilikowski, a wonderful man we lost earlier this year after a brave battle with cancer. Dennis had been active in the masonry industry for over 45 years, while working at Bend Industries, Northfield Block Company, and the last 9 years with County Materials Corporation. Today, we remember Dennis and all he's contributed over the years to the Wisconsin Masonry Alliance and these Excellence in Masonry Awards. Thank you. Now, for our 2018 awards programming. The awards presented will recognize the craftsmanship, creativity, and construction demonstrated by the winners in the following categories: concrete masonry, clay masonry, natural stone residential, natural stone commercial, and our best of show winner. The judging panel this year included Matthew Edwards from Quorum Architects, TJ Morley from Epstein UN Architects, Peter Nagel from the Redmond Company, Ryan Pliska from Rinka Chung Architecture Inc. We begin with 3 merit winners for this year. Merit recognition for concrete masonry goes to American Design for the MPS South Stadium project in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The general contractor on the project was Nicholas and Associates. The WMA producer and supplier was Northfield Block and Spec Mix. Merit recognition for clay masonry goes to the Redmond Company for the Qdoba Brady Street project in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The general contractor on the project was the Redmond Company. The WMA producer and supplier was Belden Brick Company, County Materials, and Lichen Mortar Technologies. Merit recognition for the natural stone commercial goes to Rossetti for the Titletown Sledding Pavilion in Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin. The general contractor on the project was Myron Construction. The WMA producer and supplier was Fond du Lac Stone, Spec Mix, and County Materials. The first Best of Award acknowledges excellence in the concrete masonry category. The Best of Concrete Award this year goes to Bray Architects for the St. Francis Civic Center project in St. Francis, Wisconsin. The general contractor on the project was Bayer Construction.
This is the main civic center for the city of St. Francis. It acts as their city hall. It houses their police and fire departments as well. The client really talked a lot about timeless qualities in their building. They wanted a building that would look good forever. It wouldn't date itself. And for them, that really meant natural materials as much as possible. So we were really looking at ways to get stone, brick, wood, kind of a real simple palette woven into the ultimate selection.
Concrete masonry tends to be sometimes utilitarian, and they took it to a next level in the way that they detailed the masonry, setting every alternating course back a little bit, helped kind of create a strong horizontal line.
We tried to find a way to provide a lot of texture in that facade, and we thought a way to do that and do it cost effectively is to really look at modular units, set them in courses. We then pushed and pulled those courses in and out. So in addition to having the split face texture already on the unit, we also added this additional textural quality and additional shadow by pushing and pulling those courses as well.
It was a very modern play on a project that I've seen in the past, and I liked how they took different height modules of height, created horizontal datums. There again, they struck the joints very deep. They looked at, stepping of the concrete masonry back and forth. So created a very strong composition horizontally, knowing that the building was only a one-story building.
When you have the opportunity to design a building that you know is going to be in that community for a really long time, right? It's going to be the backdrop for the best days in the communities and some of the hardest days in the communities. And we're very proud of St. Francis's project. We think it's achieved that really well.
Congratulations to Bray Architects. The next award is for the Best of Concrete category. This year's award goes to Engberg Anderson Architects for the Keystone on Brady Street project in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The general contractor on the project was Ogden Construction Company. The mason contractor was Walsh Masonry. The WMA producers and suppliers were County Materials, Northfield Block, and Spec Mix.
The Keystone on Brady really started early on as a lot of coordination meetings with the Historic Preservation Committee. It is a very landmark site. Like a lot of people had strong opinions about what should or shouldn't be there. So along Brady Street, we tried to fit into the typology. So it was essentially retail with apartments above, and it turns out to be a slab type building. So we kept it rather monolithic along Brady Street, and as the building turns the corner, we started to break up that module to relate to the residences that marched down the street.
One of the things they did really well was the sense of scale. It reads really well down the street and on a neighborhood level, but also it has those fine brick details at a pedestrian scale. And it also does well having that face on Brady Street. The brick look is the Brady Street look, but then the back of the building was kind of a different area. Those separation of materials worked really well for the project.
One of the funnest things to do was to do the survey of the masonry along Brady Street, or in Milwaukee in general, and take those details and those motifs and kind of repurpose them into a kind of contemporary expression.
The level of articulation on sort of the south facade in relationship to the east facade, similar kind of detailing, but executed with different materials, different products, different colors, and so forth. And so there was a creative thread that sort of was taken all the way around the building, which was nice to see. And yet it still broke the building down into a scale that was respectful of the community.
I think people are appreciative that the effort was made to tie into the context, and it quietly settles into that context. It was a highly contentious site, so I feel like the fact that we were able to quietly settle in there is pretty successful.
Congratulations to Engberg Anderson Architects. Now, for an award appointed for excellence in the natural stone residential category. The award this year goes to James Craig Builders for the Tuss House residential project in Polk, Wisconsin. The general contractor on the project was James Craig Builders. The WMA producer and supplier was Halquist Stone Company and Spec Mix.
What the Tuss Houses wanted, they wanted to build what they called a modern lodge type house. They were also on a lake, so they wanted to make sure it fit with the lake settings.
The material that they chose, they wanted a stone that would give off some earth tones, but in a darker brown. So they chose something that's a little bit rare. It's out of Oklahoma. It's a sandstone. Keep it looking rustic, and then we trim it all with Bedford stone.
It was not just a split face or a true dimensional product. They really thought about the face of the material. When you're picking a stone on a residential project, you got to think about people that are going to go, kids that are going to touch it. It's something you're going to live with. In a commercial building, you walk by it, you don't live with it like you do in a residential project.
It fits on that lot. Using that stone, it really brought the character of the lot together with the lake, the trees, and everything else that we were trying to accomplish there. So when you look at the house, it just looks like it's timeless. It's always been there.
Didn't feel overwhelming or wasn't too little. They used it, throughout the whole building, especially on the back patio. They had it integrated into like the back patio and fireplace. And then that carried through into the interior where, again, they used it for the columns and around the fireplace in the living room.
The stone that they used and the fact that they used the same stone throughout, whether it was full stone or thin stone, it really is the theme for everything in the house. You know, the colors of the stain, the colors of the cedar, the interior paint colors. I mean, it really is that thing that pulls the whole house inside and out together.
It's unique. You don't see another one like it. It's a one of a kind. So when this person comes home at night, I think they can be proud of it. Every time they pull in their driveway, they can see their home, and I believe they're proud of it. I know I'm proud of it when I still drive by it today.
Congratulations to James Craig Builders. Next, our winner in the Natural Stone Commercial category, which is also our Best of Show winner. The award this year goes to Overland Partners for the Grande project in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. The general contractor on the project was C.D. Smith. The mason contractor was C.D. Smith. The WMA producer and supplier was Spec Mix.
It was clear right from the beginning that was our best in show. I think that the really refined palette, the way that they used the stone and the wood and the glass, the three materials, and they carried throughout the entire project, especially the way that the stone went from the outside and carried right into the inside of the building, in the lobby and throughout several locations within the building. It really, the attention to detail in the way that the masonry was executed and laid up was really, it was the clear winner.
What made the best in show for me was understanding the material. You could see that they had a strong command of the material everywhere, and they brought it into the building when it made sense, but they really made it a focal element on the project. It came into the cut, it came into how they used bed face within the blend. It came into the depth of the windows. It just, the command of understanding what the stone veneer was.
The horizontality, how well grounded it was, I think was something that drew everyone's attention. The lines of all of the materials worked well together, and the stone really worked well as a base, and it met the site really well. It didn't clash with anything else. It wasn't just an afterthought accent. It worked really well with everything together.
It's the attention to detail, it's the consistency, the honesty of the expression. The notion of using, sort of a concrete material to look like stone, is philosophically, is that sort of an honest expression? But it's also, a means to an end. It's something that really sort of creates this interesting kind of pattern. They didn't sort of try to treat it as strictly this sort of thin veneer and didn't sort of, tempt you to walk around the corner to see that, this is where it fell off. It actually resolved itself in some meaningful ways.
Congratulations to Overland Partners. The WMA has created a new category this year. The award will year after year pay tribute to a man we lost early this year after a brave battle with cancer. Dennis's legacy was built on his unwavering support for masonry construction over the last 45 years. The award is based on overall design, workmanship, and attention to detail. This criteria mirrors Dennis's passion and commitment throughout his career. It is our honor we present to you today the Dennis Wilikowski Craftsmanship Award. The award this year goes to Architectural Design Consultants, Inc. for the Oak Park project in Menasha, Wisconsin. The mason contractor was Hello Masonry. The WMA producers and suppliers were County Materials and Spec Mix.
Well, Oak Park Place is a client that we've had for a lot of years now, and they're terrific folks who have an important mission in that they create this wonderful housing for folks, and so they take it very seriously, and they would like to create a home that people can, towards the end of their lives, they can move into and they can feel good about. The choice of brick and stone was something that we felt strongly about as an architect, and our clients agreed with completely. The natural nature of these two materials were something that we wanted to use. We did use some siding along with that. But with those three materials, it came together very nicely and gives us a chance to break up the elevations. Well, Mark Cruiser was the design architect for the project, and he used the stone and the masonry to break up the mass of these projects. These are not small buildings, but they feel very comfortable in their scale because of the way that he skillfully broke up the masses. Craftsmanship in a project means that from design through construction, everyone cared and put their best foot forward. And that's why it always feels great, is we can all go back, look at it, and know we all did a good job. It's also always nice when you're using natural materials, you know that you're going to be balancing the natural materials that you're going to look across and see with, quite frankly, clay that came from that area. So we enjoyed the fact that by using natural elements, we were tying back into what was actually a beautiful site. Residents of the facility are quite happy with it, and also, very importantly, their families. When their families come and visit them in the facility, we're getting a lot of great remarks from those folks too. So it's been a success on both fronts.
Congratulations to Architectural Design Consultants, Inc. We'd like to give a special thank you to this year's strategic partners: County Materials Corporation, Halquist Stone Company, Milwaukee Mason Contractors Association, Northfield, and Spec Mix. On behalf of the Wisconsin Masonry Alliance, thank you for the submissions and to the attendees of this year's awards. After looking back to acknowledge and admire the award-winning work of the previous year, now is the time to find inspiration and look to the future. We encourage you to continue to marry form, function, and fearless creativity in an effort to achieve excellence in masonry. Congratulations to this year's winners.